Namaskaram to everyone. A warm welcome to Badri Prasad Garu, to Venkataparao Garu. I think you all are coming for the first time. And one of my very old dear students, Pattabhiraman Garu. Namaskar. It's good to see you all. So we are in the 7th chapter, the 24th verse. We did cover the 24th verse. Can we have the translation once again, please? Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayah abuddhayah, the foolish think of me, mam, the self. The self is avyaktam, unmanifest, to having come to manifestation. Vyaktim apannam, parambhavama ajanantaha. Ajanantaha means they do not know. What do they not know? Mama parambhavam. Param is supreme, the nature, which is immutable, avyaktam, anuttamam, unsurpassed. This is the word-to-word meaning of what the verse is saying. The foolish think of the self, which is unmanifest, as having come to manifestation, not knowing my nature, which is immutable and unsurpassed. Now, thanks, Ma. Very clearly, we did clarify it. We say of those people, of the small-minded people who cannot rise up to the true understanding of what the reality or the self or Brahman is. As he says, the true nature of the self is immutable. He uses 3 words in the verse. He says the self, first he says it is unmanifest. Brahman is the unmanifest reality. The unmanifest reality which supports the manifested world. Everything that you perceive, everything that is manifested, the entire world of plurality. This morning, when I was watching the news, there was a big celebration in the community amongst the astronauts, because they had sent some space shuttle. I don't know, I didn't get the entire picture. They sent a space shuttle into the deep, unknown realms of space, and the satellite has become operational, and it has sent signals, and it is going to send them candid pictures in the next course of few months. So they're still discovering the frontiers, the borders, or the boundaries of this world. All of that which you know, that which you do not know now, which you will know tomorrow, is still the manifested world which they call is as kshara, perishable. All of this is perishable. This manifested world, which is of a perishable nature, is supported by the unmanifest reality, which is the imperishable truth. It's like a Muhammad Ali punch, this statement. It's powerful. The entire manifested world, which is perishable, is supported by the unmanifest reality, which is the imperishable. So the real understanding, the foolish think they can't attune to that level of understanding the true nature of what Brahman is. They bring down God to a level of manifestation. So they create a human incarnation of God. And remember, a man of realization is said to have reached a state of having transcended birth and death. That is what immutable means. See, immutable means that which is changeless. Change refers to birth and death. Everything that is born has to go through the metamorphic changes of life. What are the metamorphic changes of life? Birth, growth, decay, disease, death. These are the 5 metamorphic changes every human, every being has to go through, every living being has to go through. So right from birth to death, you're constantly subjected to change. So when he says it is immutable, you become the changeless reality. And once you attain that state of realization, you are supposed to have transcended this cycle of birth and death. There is no question of being born again. This is you must have these policies very sound. These are the sound policies your understanding should be based on. So when a man attains that state of realization, there is no further birth for such a person. So there is no question of an incarnation of God, because he has transcended the cycle of birth and death. There is no further birth for him. So there's no question of anybody claiming me to be incarnation of so-and-so. But yet, there are people who claim so, and the multitude, the ignoramuses, foolishly accept and glorify them. Here the Lord himself, to the horse's mouth, he says, I am the unmanifest, not having any manifestation, not knowing my true nature. They don't know my nature, which is immutable, unsurpassed. Unsurpassed means there's nothing beyond this. There's nothing beyond this. Now, I've mentioned this. I'm just reiterating this aspect. Now, there is a great weakness in the spiritual field. And one of the weakness in the spiritual field is to develop an overwhelming attachment to the personality, overwhelming importance to the Guru himself or the personality himself. It's a weakness. In fact, in Vedantic studies, the first thing we learn, you must never mix the lifestyle and the teachings of a guru. These are 2 things we are often cautioned. As a spiritual seeker, as a spiritual practitioner, you all look up to some guru. I look up to a guru. It is important that you separate the lifestyle of the guru vis-a-vis his teachings. Now, when you talk of the lifestyle and the teachings, it is very easy to follow. Easy to follow what? What is easy to follow of the 2? The lifestyle or the teachings? Okay, let me ask Badri Prasad ji.
Lifestyle.
So you seem to be very sure, sir.
Teachings are very difficult to follow.
Are you sure, sir?
I think I am sure.
No. I don't want to put any doubt into you. I'm just wanting to get assurance. In fact, you're very right. It is very easy to mock or emulate a lifestyle of a person than to imbibe and live the value systems or the teachings.
Teachings, yeah.
Since it is easier to follow the lifestyle and the masses are not up to the caliber to pick up the teachings, they blindly follow the lifestyle. They are enamored by the personality, the sheer aura of the person influences you, consumes you, ends up defining what you do in your life. Oh, my guru does so, therefore I do so. That is the fundamental flaw. You should never ever follow the personality. Since this weakness prevails, today's spirituality, in fact, religions have ended up becoming spiritual cults. Today, institutions, years and decades after a guru has gone by, you still hug on and hold on to the image of the personality. Sad, alas, that's what they're saying. You're holding on to. Now, a guru, you may call it an incarnation or a realized soul, falls into the bracket of the common concept of idol. Remember this. I repeat, a guru could be a realized soul, even if you want to say he is an incarnation, who am I to refute it? Falls under the bracket of the concept of an idol. Now you must classify the idol into 4 categories. What are the 4 categories of an idol? Venkatramji, if you have heard this concept earlier, if you're familiar with the idea, you would be able to comment.
No, Hari Om Guruji, no, I'm not familiar with that. The 4 forms of idol, yeah.
Not familiar. How many forms you are familiar? The rest we will fill.
Only idol means idol worship, or emulating somebody, or probably taking him as an inspiration and all of that. Yeah, I mean, I know it in literal terms.
All right. Fair enough, no problem. An idol has 4 aspects to it. Sudhakar Garu, any idea, sir? I can read your mind, therefore I am asking you.
One is the physical form of the idol.
Then?
The other thing is the representation of the idol to you, what it is transforming to you. If it is Lakshmi, money is communicated to your mind. If it is Lord Ganesha, he is the destroyer of all the hurdles.
You're going into the symbolic representation of these idols, but if you take any idol for that matter, idol by itself, the concept of an idol, as we understand, an idol represents the ideal, isn't
yes.
it? Ideal is the goal of self-realization. That is the ideal. The idol is a symbol or a tool,
Yes.
isn't it, sir? Now, this symbol or a tool can be categorized into 4 types, 4 aspects. So you understand the comprehensive categories of idols. I hope you get me right. There are 4 categories I'm creating so that you get the broad spectrum of all idols. All right, sir. Okay, good. You're not wrong. Subhashi, boliye sir. Namaskar. Firstly, could you please unmute yourself, sir?
This of idols, we can say that they are representation of the true spirit of God. We consider them as a God, and it is the true spirit of God where we are trying to follow Him.
Yes, that's right. But I'm asking, what are the 4 categories?
4 categories, no idea.
No problem, sir. Not that you may say you are new and you don't know. Even the senior most people in the class will not know, you see. To a large extent, I also don't know. I am asking so that I also will take notes. So I am also in the same boat, sir. Don't worry. The 4 categories. Now, thanks, Subhaji. Now, the 4 categories of an idol can be either gross or subtle. A gross idol is a statue. A gross idol could be made of the element earth. The 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, earth. The element earth, you can take a stone and make a statue of it. It's an idol. In every religion, in fact, you worship fire. Fire is an idol. You use water as an integral part of any ritual. Water is an idol, isn't it? You worship the sun god, is an idol. You worship nature, idol. You use flowers and fruits as an offering, as an idol. You know, the same flower, when it's plucked from a tree, it could be a beautiful flower. When a lady adorns it, it has a certain value. The same flower, when it's offered to the Lord, has a certain value. Even after a flower which is taken off from the altar, the dried flowers, they are not chucked into the dustbin. You actually take it and perhaps you will put it into the plants. You'll put back into the soil, but you wouldn't. How come it has gained that divinity? Because you are tuned it to the higher. So an idol could be gross. Subtler idols is, as I've said, water, fire. The subtlest of all idols is, okay, subtler, let's go subtler step by step. Subtler idol is when you sing a bhajan or a kirtan, when you entertain a certain emotion, when your thoughts go towards God. When I sing a bhajan, instantly you're attuned of the higher, aren't you? So emotion becomes an idol to take you, to transport you to God. Bada chitta chor man mohan, mera chitta chor. If I sing that song, still you think of Krishna, the naughty Krishna, but all that mischief with it, you symbolize that, you know. So the thought of that emotion, that idea of capturing that feeling is an idol. Now, subtler than that is the knowledge which you receive from these great masters. That the highest idol, the subtlest idol is knowledge. So an idol can be gross or subtle. So these are the 2. Now, what are the other 2? टिंकी में पता है? आधा मैंने बोल दिया, आधा आपको बोलना पड़ेगा।
ध्यान नहीं आ रहा कुछ। हरिओम गुरु जी।
If you think specifically in the context of the mantra, you will have to think afresh, as they say, out of the box. Where is Harish ji, out of the box man? We often get comments that Harish ji only thinks out of the box. And often our Sudhakar ji builder keeps telling this, he always thinks out of the box, he says. Even other day, Harish ji, Sudhakar ji was mentioning this, Harish ji always thinks out of the box. Sir, can you please think outside the box or inside the box? There's no answer. Outside the box only, sir. Harish ji, boliye. Sir, you have to unmute yourself, sir.
Guruji, since you have boxed me in, I have to answer. Hari Om Guruji. So
Yes, sir.
So it is gross, subtle,
Ama.
dhyan and gyan.
Huh?
Dhyan and gyan. So the dhyan meaning something which, the emotion which transports you to the ideal. So that's what you called as the third form that it.
No. The dhyan and the gyan. Okay, if you say emotion and thought, it comes under the subtle idol. The gross idol is physical, which is earth, fire, water. You can take because air and space is not tangible. It's not perceivable. So you may not be able to attune to space. If I say God is all pervading in space, you can't attune to it. You can't relate to it. So it is not a gross idol. So earth, fire, water is a gross idol. Subtle idol is emotion and thought. These are the two. Now what is 3 and 4?
Third is jnanam.
No. I already said. Emotion and knowledge comes under the category of subtle idol. Gross idol is earth, fire, water. Isn't it?
Thought.
Okay. Thought also is an idol because what are you not able to relate to the transcendental right now with these ideas? You think of the higher. All right. Now I will leave you boxed and locked you in there for a while. What are the third and the fourth? Ramji, any idea? Now, the idea is not to challenge or test your understanding, but just to make you all think, sir. Please don't misunderstand me.
Yeah. Namaste, Guruji.
Namaskar, sir.
I don't have any idea, but I can hazard a guess. Third one could be a person, a role model type of a person whom you follow.
You took the cue which I said, think in the context of the verse. The context of the verse I said is talking about
So the foolish think of me, the unman, not knowing my nature. So they come to they have having manifestation. So I think
they're talking of a living being as an incarnation of God, isn't it?
Right.
So the third idol, the third category of an idol is an idol can be dead or alive. The 4 categories of an idol. You can have a dead guru, like Ekalavya made a statue of his guru, of Dronacharya. Or you can have a physical guru talking to you, who can be in your life as a symbol, as an idol. So a guru, a living guru is also an idol. He falls into the fourth category. So what I have just done is categorize the idol into 4 types. You can have an idol gross or subtle, living or dead. And am I right, Ramji? So a dead guru can be a textbook. You go to a library and pick up a book or a scripture. The book doesn't talk to you like I'm talking to you now. And you can gain inspiration from a dead guru. The scripture talks to you, as it were. Now, of these 4, Ramji, where do you think the greatest attachment lies?
I think I would say the least attachment lies with the subtle one, because that is difficult to have. But I think the greatest should lie with the physical one, followed by the guru.
Oh, you're quantifying it here in terms of numbers?
I'm just prioritizing them. I'm just saying that the greatest attachment is to the physical idol. But there are also some because this cuts across religions, and it could be in any. But there are also religions who don't believe in any physical idols. So there it could be more towards a book or a person.
Which religion doesn't believe in idols?
Islam doesn't believe in idol.
And what is it that they worship towards?
Mecca, which is the idol, which is actually a place of worship, let's say holy place, right?
Isn't that an idol? Is it like a temple?
It is, of course. Not a statue, but yeah, it is.
It is a point. Everywhere you go in a Muslim hotel, you find there's an arrow pointed in the room, a green arrow pointing towards Mecca.
Correct.
What is that? Isn't that an idol, sir?
That's true. But if you go to a masjid, there is no idol in a masjid. Okay. It is just that it is a place of where you can pray, but there is no, like when we go to a temple, there is an idol there. But in a masjid, there is no idol. If you go to Golden Temple, there is only a book. There is no other thing in the Golden Temple.
Correct.
Okay.
The
so
holy
these
book.
are all of them are idols.
Yeah, they all. That's why. So if you think independently and try to categorize all the idols you're talking about, they'll fall into these broad 4 classifications.
Definitely.
I would be happy to learn if there's anything beyond these 4 categories: gross, subtle, living, dead.
Yes, Guruji. So the books will come under the physical one?
The books will come under the dead gurus.
The dead gurus. Why so? For example, I mean, I'm just debating. So
yes, please.
If it is, if we take the case of Guru Granth Sahib in the Golden Temple, why does it come under physical?
So it could come under, you can categorize it in both. But when I said living or dead, because the guru doesn't talk to you, a scripture conveys far greater than a mere gross idol, isn't it?
Right.
When I read a book, it elevates my thoughts vis-a-vis an idol may not do the same.
Right.
So a book could fall into more than one category, but yet these categories are very relevant.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, one of the most difficult attachments to get out of is attachment to a living guru. That's the most difficult to get out of. Because it is in the order of superiority, the gross to subtle. This is the subtlest, isn't it?
You are saying the live guru is the subtlest?
Yes.
Oh.
And what did we learn in the Mahabharata? What did we learn even before? Why I said Mahabharata is even before the Gita started. Now let me ask somebody else. Why Dinadhanji? Even before the Gita, the sermon of Lord Krishna started, what was the predicament Arjuna had?
Arjuna's predicament just before the war was his inability to discharge his duty according to the Dharma. And he was swayed by emotions of family attachment and the desire not to cause any killing and suffering to his kith and kin for the sake of his kingdom. So he refused to fight. He was confused and he was not. He was going away from his duty.
That's a backdrop. You're right. But what specific in that predicament is being spoken in the context? In the context specifically, what was the predicament? He had a big dilemma.
His dilemma was, should he kill his cousins for the kingdom?
No, beyond that, who else were there he had to fight against?
His gurus, his...
he had to fight against his guru. Because what stood against him establishing dharma was his guru. And that is one of the biggest turmoil he had within him. Am I to shoot at my own guru who has told me to hold the bow and arrow? Am I to do that papam, that sin? I will not. And he gave up his bow and arrow and he says, I will not fight. I will not discharge my duties to establish dharma. And that is when the sermon started. The Gita, the advice which Lord gave to Arjuna, giving him the importance of dharma. So what the Lord said thereafter, even if your guru comes in between you and your goal of attaining your objective, if guru is an impediment, push aside the guru. That is what Arjuna was told. Am I right?
Yes.
Arjuna was told to fight against his guru. Now, it is something I don't know what, if I was in that position, how could I have handled that emotion? Where you always fall at the feet of a guru, and to stand up and fight against your guru is unquestioned, unparalleled. And yet, even before the sermon started, Arjuna was told to fight against his own guru, because the guru was in the party of Adharma, and the war was against dharma and adharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha bhamaka pandavaschaiva. You know the rest. So it is not that you can't hold this concept lightly. But yet, you got to understand it very objectively, that a guru also is a mere symbol, a mere idol. You don't have to hug on, you got to hold on. You got to understand that guru has a role in your spiritual progress. Use it to the extent it does. Beyond a point, it is a thorn in your flesh. You got to take it out. So don't develop don't give an over importance to any element in the spiritual path. You use it to the extent it serves. In fact, the language we often say, don't give it a black market value. In the spiritual field, gurus have got a black market value in your spiritual sadhana. Don't give a black market value. Give the right value a guru deserves. Yes, a guru plays a very important role, but ultimately a guru is said to be a signpost, isn't it? A signpost which only gives you a direction where you got to follow the path. The difference between a dead guru and a living guru is a normal signpost vis-a-vis a 3D billboard. Sanjay, can you give a little insight into the difference between an ordinary painted signboard vis-a-vis a 3D billboard? Have you seen one?
Guruji. Sorry, I don't think I can give that kind of difference, but I'm understanding the notion of this dead guru versus the live guru. It's a guru in action.
You will become still. There will be no further action from me.
I feel that what I've kind of felt along the journey is when it's been a dead guru in the form of a book, I have a choice of do I follow it or don't I follow it. It's like a buffet. I'll kind of pick the bits that I like and reject the bits that I don't. But in the presence of a live guru, that doesn't seem possible.
அது பண்ணனா அடி வாங்க போற நீ. டேய் தெரியுமா நான் என்ன சொன்னேன்? Thank God he doesn't understand, Rajima. Please translate it in a mild form for Sanjay. Rajima. Now, that depends how well she translates it.
For saying so, you shall be penalized.
No, how can you pick up a scripture and say it's like a buffet and I choose what I like? You can't. You're not being honest and truthful to the text. Like if I give the Gita to you, I will choose and take what I like, the rest I will discard. You can't do that. Can you? To that I said, you will be penalized. No.
But that's something that I feel that I have been guilty of. Yeah.
That's fair enough. You're all right to say that. But you have to uphold the teachings and receive everything, not because a guru said so, because it has to appeal to your reason. It has to make sense to you, isn't it? If it appeals to you, you've got to take it. You get it?
Yes.
Not merely on the emotional elements. You got to take it on not in its face value, but you take it if it appeals to you. Yes. Now, all I wanted to is if you had seen an ordinary picture, vis-a-vis a 3D portrait. If you had seen a 3D portrait, isn't there a difference? A normal picture, have you ever seen a 3D picture? A 3D. Now, even you go to a 3D movie. Come on, Sanjay, which era are you from? Have you not gone to a 3D movie?
I have gone to a 3D movie.
That's all I'm asking. Doesn't it become live? Doesn't it become more entertaining, more enterprising? You get excited, isn't it?
Yes.
I remember seeing the only 3D movie of my childhood days. Everybody will say Chota Chetan. That was a movie I remember. And I remember I was swimming in the huge ice cream tub. You know, there was a scene that is so strong in my mind. There was a huge ice cream tub. I think all I was playing in it, and as if I could put my hand into the tub, sitting far away in the aisle. That kind of an experience. So the difference between a dead guru and a living guru is a difference between an ordinary signpost vis-a-vis a 3D billboard. Nowadays, you have these billboards of 3D nature that they actually, as if it's coming to you. You have this in all these advanced countries here. I know you have many in New York and things like that. You know, it's very, very common. You see that in those developed societies. So I'm just trying to draw a parallel between what is this and that. But however, what we need to understand is an idol represents the ideal. So it is limiting our ability by holding on to the idol, because if you hold on to the idol, you will not progress towards the ideal. And the ideal is the goal of spiritual evolution, the goal to attain that state of self-realization. All right, Sanjay?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yes, Venkatramji.
Guruji, I have a small dilemma. This is not related to idol, but the earlier one, where we all said that lifestyle of a guru versus teachings. Obviously, emulating the lifestyle is far more easier than, taking his teachings and all. But the modern management theory, or all of us, we keep saying that you should walk the talk, you should practice what you preach. So this is inherent contradiction. And in our childhood, we were always told, do as elders say, but don't emulate them. But that is not cutting eyes, because everybody is seeing through and then getting challenged. So how do we come out of this particular dilemma here? Lifestyle of a guru versus the teachings. While it is very good that we should follow teachings, but the gurus also have to demonstrate a certain kind of this thing which is in line with what they teach.
That is for the guru to decide. That would determine whether he's the chalk and cheese.
But will the
True
credibility of the guru then not get questioned? I mean, you are teaching all this, but then, I mean, like all of us, we are also told that, you should walk the talk. What you keep saying is what you should do it. So, I mean,
Yes.
that is a point which I just wanted to make.
No, absolutely. A true teacher communicates through his actions than his words. Because as a true leader, he leads the way. If I want you all to do something, I'll have to do it myself first. As the Shastras say, Yadyada Chayati Shreshtaha tat eva itara janaha. Shreshtaha means a man of perfection. Whatever a man of perfection does, that alone others follow. Whatever standards he sets, others emulate. So it is imperative that a leader should set the tone for others to follow. Even when a leader sets the tone, you don't do what he does. Oh, my guru is going cycling, I also will do cycling. Oh, my guru is doing skydiving, I also will do skydiving. My guru is doing snorkeling, I also will do snorkeling. That fellow likes swimming, you don't like swimming, and you are going into the water because my guru is swimming, you also want to swim. You will drown and start floating. That fellow will be snorkeling. Now, why do you have to get into that kind of foolish thing? I'm saying, let him do what his dharma demands him to do. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to literally end up doing what he does. But it is very important that you imbibe and let your actions speak. So it's applicable to the guru and the student. So there's no contradiction. So when we say that, the accent also is more on the knowledge and more so to make you rational. So you rationalize and adapt things which is relevant to your personality. What is adaptable to him may not be adaptable to you, isn't it? So it is to be very, very smart, very sharp, and take the right measurements as to what exactly you need. Okay, sir. Does that clarify? All right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Tinkima.
Guruji, regarding this example you were giving, that if a guru does snorkeling or cycling or whatever, those are more of, a person's interests or activities. But I think here the thing is about, what we are like. We have always told, practice what you preach. So, when we are teaching some higher values or something, And then if I am a guru to my children, for example, I need to, if I'm telling them be honest, I cannot say I am allowed to be dishonest and you can't. No, we have to set an example. So
Yes.
like that also, I think more than a person's activities, interests, or hobbies, or their specific talents or aptitudes, it's more about the higher values. Like whatever we look up to the guru, whatever we see the guru is teaching us from the scriptures, somewhere there is the feeling that, wow, see, my guru does this and he's doing it and he's my guru and I would like to be like him. Not as an end in himself, but it's like, they're showing the path. So from that aspect, what would you say? We're talking about the imparting of values more than about, and that imparting of values will be visible in the behavior also.
Now, see, often we take example, Tinkima, I take three great personalities, okay? On one side, you had the great Ramana Maharshi.
Yes.
On one side, you had the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. And on the other side, you had the great Ramatirtha, the three R's. Now, whom do you follow? Would you want to sit in silence?
I don't think I can.
Like Ramana Maharshi? No, 1 minute. You want to sit like Ramana Maharshi? Or would you want to be like the great Ramakrishna, who only spoke to those who approached him? Or like the great Ramatirtha, who went around the world lecturing? And all attained the same exalted state of realization, all spoke the same truth, yet each one lived a contrasting life which was innately their dharma, their nature.
Yeah.
Who would you follow?
I think whoever matched my Swadharma, like I would be more comfortable doing what comes to me naturally.
What is your Swadharma?
I don't think I can just sit in silence, nor will I wait for people to come to me, because nobody is going to come to me. So I will probably share something which I have a bad habit of doing.
Therefore, it is not about what a guru is what your constitution needs. That is what exactly I said, Venkatji, is what your personality demands. It's not, there are many gurus out there. So you disregard what they do. Go by the teachings and adapt it into your own personality to mold yourself. You understand?
Now I've understood. Thank you so much for that example.
Most welcome. Most welcome. I think Venkata Paragaru.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Namaskar, sir. Hari Om.
I have, probably I'm looking for more clarification. So Dronacharya mentioned is Guru of Arjuna, but is he a spiritual guru or lifestyle guru?
What is the intention behind asking that question?
Because when we are talking about the subtler form of guru, so I was thinking that it is more under the guru who is giving us spiritual knowledge. So that was the main reason why I had this question, because I was feeling that, okay, my opinion was Dronacharya was more a lifestyle guru. He did not impart any knowledge that is more, that works towards the spiritual development of Arjuna.
See, we were taking it in a specific context, and I agree with you that Dronacharya, who was regarded as a great teacher, who taught the knowledge of archery. He taught, and archery was perhaps one of the elements which was involved in development of an individual, because there's obviously there's a discipline, there's culture, there's value systems, there's always imbibed, but you may not be able to say Dronacharya as a spiritual guru in a strict sense. But irrespective of that, from a perspective of Arjuna, Dronacharya was everything to him. Because Arjuna was an archer, was a warrior. Arjuna was not a spiritual aspirant. So Dronacharya meant everything to him. So to fight against him was to fundamentally uproot his devotion and to kill that profound respect and regard he had for him, which was a matter of fact because he was his guru. He taught him archery. So even taking from that limited context of a warrior looking up to his guru who taught him the law of warfare, am I to fight against my own guru? In that context also, perhaps it was only used in that context, sir. Since you are seeking to clarify it, I am just only clarifying that it is relevant in that context. I have not used Dronacharya in the general sense of a guru.
Okay.
But still it is symbolic. Symbolic because if you are attached to anything, that attachment becomes an impediment for your growth. In fact, in the Ishavasya Upanishad, in fact, in the 9th mantra, which we are very soon going to get into in the next class, if you have the time and if you can come, I request you to come for the next Saturday satsang. So it's early morning. Please do come. We will get into the 9th mantra. And in 9th mantra, he exactly says this. Let me quote it to you all. So you know exactly what it is. You know? In fact, I'll chant that specific mantra. You know, it says, Andham tamah pravishanti ye vidyamupasate tato bhuya ivate tamoya vidyaya gurataha. There's a mantra where he says, those who worship ignorance, avidya, are in darkness. But those who revel in vidya, in knowledge, are in greater darkness. Now, what do you recommend, sir? To be in darkness or in knowledge? Sir, could you please unmute yourself? I want to hear your comments, sir.
Certainly knowledge. Why not?
Certainly knowledge, isn't it? But then they are saying there's a great danger. If you are not careful, you may develop an attachment to knowledge and it can bring your own downfall. In that sense, in inverted commas, we are saying you are unknowingly, ignorantly developing an attachment to it, my dear. Please understand, everything in your spiritual path is meant to elevate you to reach your goal, not to limit you. So if you have developed a fanatic attachment to anything that is in the path to the goal, it will not lead you to the goal. That's all we are saying.
Thank you. Guruji, I have one more, in fact, doubt. Dead Guru, is dead Guru same as Smritis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Most welcome, sir. Yes, Hariji?
Guruji, Hari Om.
Yes,
For
sir,
me,
Hariji.
any teacher is a guru. We cannot distinguish whether he is teaching us spiritual or other knowledge. A knowledge is a knowledge. Even if I now remember my primary teacher, she taught me right from the beginning. And I am eternally grateful to her. So we cannot bifurcate. This guru is teaching me, because if a matured student at a later date, he will find spirituality in every knowledge. As long as we are not using that knowledge for the detriment of oneself or for others.
So nowadays I can't differ with you, sir.
No.
Maybe the weather is in your favor of late.
No, my primary teacher taught me how I should greet my people around me. That I should tell only the truth. I should respect my elders. I should respect my teachers. The same thing is there even when I have done my post-graduation. So which teacher is not helping us to realize the aim and goal of my life? Every teacher is a teacher. And if we really look into it, in every teaching we can find spirituality.
Right, sir. Point well noted, well said, sir. Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you. Verse 25, please. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrataha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrataha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam. Veiled by Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the illusion born of the union of the three gunas, which are the qualities. So veiled by Yogamaya, I am not manifest to all. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Na aham prakasha. I am not prakasha manifest sarvasya to all. I am not manifest to all. Why? Because of Yogamaya samavrataha. Mudhoyam. This is a very famous word of these gurus. You know, they keep very lovingly keep using it, Sanjay. I'm sure you have noted that. No? Every time we keep calling us addi vaang pora, they keep telling us. Write that down, huh? Sanjay bhai. Sanjay bhai, write that down. Huh? Mudha mate means addi vaang pora. So we're having some fun, Sanjay. Thanks to you. Huh? So this deluded world, abhijanati, the loka, the world, abhijanati, knows me not, ajaha, the unborn, avyayam, imperishable. Look at the superlative descriptions of Brahman. So in the last verse, in this verse, the 5 words you learn in the 24th verse, thanks Gayatri Ma, he first said, he said, Vasantama, I know you have taken note of. What are the 3 words we learned in the 24th verse?
Supreme, immutable,
the first is avyaktam. Avyaktam is unmanifest.
Unmanifest, immutable,
Immutable, unsurpassed. Avyaktam, avyayam, anuttamam. Right? Which is unmanifest, immutable, unsurpassed. And in this verse, he says, ajaha, unborn, avyayam, imperishable. So in 2 verses, he is giving 5 descriptions of what the truth is, the reality is. And again, he says, this deluded world. Now, whom is he talking about? Ushama, whom is he talking about?
The foolish people, Namaste Guruji. The foolish people who have not realized him.
Who is that?
The person, the Brahman, who is unborn, imperishable.
Oi. The deluded world. You said the foolish people.
Okay.
Whom is he talking about?
The people who are not ignorant people.
Whom is it? Who are they?
Everybody, most of us who have not.
He's talking of all of us belong to this
Yes,
category.
yes, yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So the deluded world, we do not understand that true nature of God is. Because what have we done? We have brought down God to a state of manifestation. What we have done further is, I have a personal God. You have a personal God. You have incarnation of God. You have brought out that unmanifest nature into a manifested state. He says, you are deluded. You are ignorant, foolish. You don't realize it, what it is. Isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Thanks, Ma. So he says unborn. What is it that's unborn? Unborn is with reference to living beings. Living beings go through birth and death. Atman or Brahman has no birth and death, therefore is unborn. Imperishable is with reference to things in the world. The world, which consists of the various matter, the things which are perishable, which change. So when you say unborn is with reference to beings, imperishable is with reference to things. So when you put these two together, the world consists of things and beings. So the things are perishable, beings are subjected to birth and death. I am not unborn, means I am not going through the subjected to the change which living beings go through of birth and death. I am not subjected to the perishable nature of matter. Things which perish, I am not subjected to that. I am beyond that. Now, the world does not know me because of Yoga Maya. So the two words, Yoga and Maya. In fact, they are two opposite words. So the union of Yoga Maya, the illusion, in fact, it's translated as illusion born of the union of the three gunas. So the yoga here refers to the gunas. And Maya is the illusion that is created because of the union of the gunas. So a simple example can help us understand this. Shivaji, what is the color of light, sir?
It is white.
What is the color of light?
All the colors put together, it's one spectrum. White.
Sir, light is colorless, sir. It has no color.
All
புதுசா color கொடுக்குறீங்க நீங்க.
எல்லாம் சேர்ந்து அதுக்குள்ள இருக்கு சார், in that spectrum.
அது நீங்க you're going ahead of the teacher, sir. நான் ஒரு சும்மா simple question கேட்டேன். What is the color of color?
Colorless, white.
Light. Colorless, இல்லையா? Light is colorless.
Yes.
But when that pure colorless light passes through a prism, what do you get?
You get different colors.
the Vibgoric colors. What are the Vibgoric colors? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. The Vibgoric colors you get.
Yes.
So the colorless light, when it passes through a prism, you get the
colors.
manifestation of colors.
Yes.
Similarly, when the pure consciousness, unmanifest consciousness, the pure consciousness expresses through the prism. Now you have to fill the blank. The prism of what?
Prism of.
I'll give you the equation also. When the pure consciousness expresses through the prism equals Shiva. Okay, clear ana VT Shiva. Shiva yaru? VT Shiva, no, you will understand. He's talking of me only. When the pure consciousness passes through the prism, it is Shiva.
All the three.
What is the prism?
The gunas.
Rajimaya needs punishment. Too much jnanam. You can't contain, overflowing.
All the three gunas. Sattvic, Rajasic,
please.
Tamasic.
Pere punishment, Rajima. So the prism is the Bermuda Triangle. The triangle of the three gunas. So when the consciousness passes through the three gunas, it creates the individuality which you are caught up in.
The color of that.
Color of the?
That individual. What? Through his
color
gunas.
Of the color of the individual. What does the color do? Restricts your perception. You are not able to see the pure consciousness. You become extroverted. You become outward. You get the direction. When the light passes through the prism, it becomes colorful.
Distorted
you can't
output.
Go back. Distorted output. Correct. Exactly the same way he says, because of the union of the three gunas, the world does not know me. None of you know me because you're all caught up in the three gunas. In simple terms, we all are. In fact, it's very safe to say the entire world is an expression of gunas. In the, if I'm not wrong, in the 3rd chapter, I'm not wrong, he says that guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Everything is nothing but gunas functioning. Annapurnama, what are the three gunas every human being has?
Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Guruji, Hari Om.
Hari Om. The three gunas are?
Rajas, Tamas,
It's
Sattva.
not Hari Om. The three gunas are Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. The Tamo Guna, Rajo Guna, and Sattva Guna. Now, this is a matter of information. Now, we have already learned and we have often reiterated it as well. Now, what do we need to do? The entire spiritual journey is in the realm of these gunas, isn't it? So what does one need to do? One needs to constantly strive to promote sattva, to sustain rajas and stifle tamas. This is where the spiritual growth lies. Isn't it, Ma? Correct? You must
absolutely
promote sattva. You must sustain rajas, stifle tamas. And with that, what happens?
Spiritually, we get elevated.
Spiritually, we get elevated. And the perception of the world becomes more
clear, and the reality
purer.
Becomes clear.
Reality becomes clear because your perception is more sattvic and pure. isn't it? So whether you look at the world from a sattvic perspective, a rajasic perspective, or tamasic perspective, whether you're living a sattvic life, a rajasic life, tamasic life, all of us are confined to this triangle of sattva, rajas, tamas. Sattva, rajas, tamas. We are caught up. The consciousness is functioning through that. But what I can do is change the combination of this sattva, rajas, tamas. So if the sattva becomes better, what happens? The
Illusion.
You are getting rid of the maya. Isn't it, ma?
Yes.
Right. In fact, whereas we say a person is defined by the guna based on its predominance. Badri Prasad Garu, are you able to understand that statement, sir? All of us have got all the three gunas, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. You also have, sir. You may disagree, sir, but I will put my foot down, sir.
No, very much, sir. I agree.
Thank you. You're very supportive and very sportive, sir. You know? Unlike your dear friend, sir. He is not so, but it's okay. Never mind. We'll deal with him separately. You know? So the statement I'm saying, you are, what did I say? Statement?
The gunas, three gunas, Tajoguna, Vayoguna, all the three are the same.
Every individual has all the three gunas.
All the three
but
gunas.
Your personality is defined by the predominance. What does it mean?
Basically, my nature.
Yes.
My nature.
It is your nature.
That will decide or that will dominate of which guna I belong to.
Correct. So if sattva is predominant, you will be called a sattvic person.
Yeah.
If your rajas is predominant, you will be a rajasic person. If your tamas is predominant, you are a tamasic person. And there are distinct traits of a tamasic person, distinct traits of a sattvic person, distinct traits of a rajasic person. So it is very easy to assess other people if you know these gunas. It's very easy to assess yourself if you know what these gunas are, so that you can take a right approach to mend them, to deal with them, so that you give license to some and no license to other. So what would you give license to, sir?
Sajoguna.
Rajoguna license kodukringla. Ichestara license.
Belong to rather.
What should you give license to? Predominantly sattva.
Sattva.
If you give a license to your sattva, you spiritually get established, you evolve. Okay, if you give a license, see, rajas is nothing but selfishness, living a life of materiality and sensuality. That is rajas. Tamas is a life of indulgence. Sattva is a life of peace. What's the right word?
Sober, peaceful.
You become very peaceful. Sattvic is where you're becoming, your mind becomes more peaceful because of your nature is more contemplative, meditative, introspective. You are more inclined, your thoughts are more inclined towards living a life of service and sacrifice. A rajasic fellow is grabbing for himself, sir. A sattvic fellow thinks in the interest of others. He's giving. He thinks in others' interest. Wonderful, sir. Good to have you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Please keep coming back.
Sure. Definitely.
So the three gunas which has created this illusion, but one who transcends these gunas attains that state of realization. But one is a matter of fact, other is the path. The path is, Venkatramji, please repeat the three things you got to do with reference to the gunas, sir. What are three things you got to do with reference to your gunas?
The three are sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So we should encourage more of sattvic, this thing. Try to curtail the rajasic one and completely put a stop to the tamasic.
Correct. So, and how do you increase sattva?
You would increase sattva more by basically, service, sacrifice, certain form of detachment, and not being very material. And
by injecting the sattvic knowledge, the higher knowledge into your life.
Okay. Right.
So these higher knowledge, these higher values, by, as you rightly said, engaging in more sattvic activities, it creates an environment where the inbuilt sattva surfaces. It's like you, oh, I did not know I had an liking for Chinese food. When would you know? Only when you went to a Chinese restaurant, when you tasted those dishes, you say, hey, actually, this is very nice, I started to like these. You only know when you go and experience it. Isn't it? So only when you expose yourself to more of sattvic activities, the sattva in you surfaces, and then you can capitalize on it. But if you don't do that, the existing sattva also gets backseat, and rajas and tamas takes a precedence, and you devolve. So you have a choice which environment to seek, and in that choice you evolve or devolve. Okay, please choose to come back again next week. We'll move on with the text. We'll take up the last topic from verses 26 to 30. Right? Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.